Hello and welcome to my channel, Afric Psych. My name is Funi. These are my opinions and no one else's. I actually wanted to record this last year, the 8th of December, and life just happened. So I met a guy. No, not what you were thinking. So I met a guy in one of my hustles looking for an apartment to rent. So I always ask my clients why they want to move or buy. So this guy, we will call him John. John. At first, John was very reluctant to tell me why he wants to move into this new apartment. His initial reason was that he prefers the West End. This wasn't what report, by the way. Well, I have that tell me all your problems type of vibe. So out of the blue, he starts talking about how he lost his job and eventually his wife. And he said, you know how you women are. Already, he is generalizing that all women are the same, meaning that from here onwards, he is going to perceive every woman he meets as the same as the one who divorced him. This in turn will lead to a spiraling situation where he will unintentionally screw up because of this perception. There is one thing that men do not realize about themselves, and please do not blame them because that is how they were raised and that is how society has brainwashed them. This topic is speaking directly to married, divorced, or separated men. Societal perceptions of men with a marriage can vary significantly based on cultural, historical, and individual factors. It's important to note that views on gender roles and expectations are diverse and evolving, and not everyone adheres to traditional stereotypes. However, some common societal perceptions or expectations historically associated with men in marriage include, but are not limited to, the following. A man is the provider. Traditionally, men have often been associated with the role of the primary provider of the family. This perception suggests that men are expected to contribute financially to support their spouses and children. This is very important to John's situation. John lost his source of financial income. I get it. Therefore, subconsciously feels that he has lost his role as a provider to his family. When John is in this situation, he starts belittling himself and in that manner, fearing that his family perceives him as a loser. He loses all confidence in himself and his ability to be the man that society wants him to be. A man is also a protector and decision maker. Men have sometimes been perceived as protectors and decision makers within the family unit. This stereotype suggests that men are responsible for ensuring the safety and well-being of their family members and are often viewed as the primary decision maker. John now is feeling the pinch because without the ability to provide, he feels that he cannot protect his family, and thereby he cannot be the decision maker if he cannot protect his family. Again, succumbing to societal norms. Another one is emotional stoicism, the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings and without complaint. Remember? There has been a historical stereotype that men should be emotionally stoic and less expressive. This perception might suggest that men should not openly display vulnerability or emotions. So John will not open up to his partner about how he feels regarding his loss of income and the emotions that accompanies the loss. Men don't cry or else they will be perceived as weak. So John ain't gonna cry. A man is also perceived as a handyman and a fixer. Men are sometimes expected to take on roles related to home maintenance and repair. This stereotype suggests that men should be skilled in practical tasks such as fixing things around the house. How can he fix anything if he cannot provide the means, finances to do so? That's John. To him, it is all about the first point, being the provider financially. He feels that he cannot fail at being a provider and succeed in anything else involving his family. Another role is a role of fatherhood. Men are commonly associated with the role of fathers within a family, responsible for parenting and imparting guidance to their children. This role may involve being actively involved in a child's upbringing and education. Most men have the perception that being part and parcel of one's children's lives, one has to have money. They are forgetting that just being present in the moments that define their children's upbringing is all that matters. Children do not really care much about the material things. They do a little, but the memories created with the parents will always be with them forever. I mean, I still remember my father coming over for a visit in a red car and playing with me, putting me on the hood of the car. I was 3 or 4 years old. It might be a real memory or a created one, but either way, just by being in it, I carried my father with me to date. Shared responsibilities. Modern perspectives on marriage increasingly emphasize the importance of shared responsibilities and partnership. Many societies are evolving toward more egalitarian views, encouraging both partners to contribute to various aspects of the family life, including childcare, household chores, and decision making. John might have had shared responsibilities with his partner, therefore feeling that he is failing in his part. Why does he feel that he is a failure? Because if he cannot provide, he is finished. He cannot amount to anything else besides being a deadbeat father and a has-been husband to his wife. It's essential to recognize that these perceptions are changing, and many individuals and couples challenge and redefine traditional gender roles with marriage. I know I do. The diversity of relationships and family structures is vast, big, and society expectations are continually evolving. So it's crucial for couples to communicate openly, set their own expectations, and define roles that work for them rather than conforming to rigid stereotypes. So back to John and his situation. Dearest John, we know that society has put a lot of pressure on you as a man, and failure to live up to those expectations has led you to believe that that is the cause of your wife leaving you. Firstly, because John believes in the above societal rules and norms, he fails to realize the good that is happening around him. Once he starts losing the role of being a provider, he then starts judging himself as a loser and a has-been. John stops trying because he has failed. He does not ask for help, nor does he even consider help from his partner. The same judgment that he imposes on himself, he starts seeing it in his partner. He starts overthinking and perceiving things that do not exist. He starts seeing himself as a burden to his partner. As a man who follows these societal rules, he feels that he cannot fulfill all these roles if he cannot provide for his family financially. He starts hearing words that he never did before from his partner and seeing reactions that never existed before. This is all because he is overthinking his role in the partnership. He starts interpreting or decoding messages according to his level of confidence. In this case, zero confidence. The partner would say something as easy as, "Did you remember to take out the chicken from the freezer?" And he will interpret it as, "You are so useless, I have demoted you to a chicken defroster. And I am reminding you because you are just a useless piece of shit." But when he felt that he was fulfilling his role as a provider, he would even take out the chicken without being asked to do so. John needs to start realizing that he should not succumb to societal needs and start living life according to his own means. Once he realizes that, he will then have the opportunity to understand that such is life. Sometimes things will not go according to our plans, and the roles will have to be switched or even shared at some point. John needs to allow himself to be vulnerable around his family. In that way, he is also teaching his sons to be better men when the time comes. John needs to express how he is feeling about the whole situation. Ultimately, John needs to allow his partner to hold his hand and walk with him. They need to work together as a unit to rebuild what has been lost and help him regain his lost confidence. He must stop seeing himself as a burden and accept that the partner is indeed his better half and is meant to be the rock when things fall apart. It must be both the man and the woman's responsibility to be the provider. Be willing and ready to take over the entire responsibility if and when the need arises. John might have pushed away his wife without even knowing by being closed off and overprotective of his emotions and what is left of his manhood. Every person has a limit when it comes to tolerance. Therefore, the wife can only hang in there for just a certain time. So my question is, did John push away his wife, or she was just that person who only holds dear the positive parts of their wedding vows? The vows are for richer or poorer, but some people only focus on the richer part, and when the poorer part comes, they run. If you haven't realized, because you are possibly naive, both vows, positive and negative, have to happen in order to grow stronger in a marriage. Don't get married for the wrong reasons. If you do, any little hardship, any little negativity that comes into your marriage, you are going to run. Remember, when you are hooked to a heart machine in hospital, the lines go up and down when you are still alive. When you die, the line becomes straight and even, level. Same as life itself. The ups and downs are the ones that prove that you are still alive and living. Life cannot just be about all things good or bad. It is a balance of both. We need to stop running away when the ups becomes the downs. Next time, let's discuss visible red flags that we tend to ignore in a relationship and end up entering into a permanent partnership and then act all surprised when shit hits the fan and then it spreads all over. For example, if John dated, let's call her Susie. If John dated Susie and whenever they had an issue, Susie would run away when they were still dating, or Susie would pack up her things and go back to her home or to a friend when they were fighting while still dating. That's not going to change just because John decides to put a ring on it. It's the way Susie is. Even in marriage, when something happens, Susie is going to run. So know your person. So in my next video, we'll be discussing the red flags that we tend to ignore. Thank you once again for watching till the end. Do not forget to subscribe if you haven't. Hit the like button, turn on notifications, and share.